Hello, hello, welcome back. I'm Claire, this is Purple Poppy, and we are on our Journal Monthly week 2 of January. So, I did explain last week that this year was going to be slightly different, and we were basically going to be doing a signature or a journal, whatever you want to say, per month, and that's how we would have a year-long book. And I'm sure by now many of you have said, but Claire, that spine is never going to last the year. No, it's not. And it's deliberately not. And that is because I am planning to do a signature a month, i.e. January, February, March, April, May, etc. And each one of these is going to be a month. The idea is it's going to be like a bookshelf journal. So we all have different times of year that are busier than others. Now, my January is very quiet, which is why I've done a thin spine. However, my December is very, very busy with birthdays and anniversaries and things like that, and Christmas. So I'm going to do a very wide spine for my December one. And like books on a bookshelf, that each month I am going to be making different heights, different width signatures, and I am not going to label my spines, January, February, March, etc., until the end of the year, because as I move through this January, I'm going to be aware of the things that happen, which are probably going to happen again next January, and I might have misjudged it, and this might not be thick enough, whereas say August, where I have no birthdays, no anniversaries, we don't take summer holidays, I don't like the heat, so this might end up being an August one. So that's how I'm working, okay? Now, the second week of the January signature, or making, and bearing in mind we're making for the year, is to make tags. Now, I've got 4 card tags cut here. I've got an old letter. I've got some photographs. I've got all my random packaging, and I've got bits of lace, ribbon, and some cheesecloth. Now, you must use whatever you've got in your stash. We're only making tags. You've made tags before. Now, this is an actual vintage letter that I'm going to use. However, you don't need to do that. There are many, many kits and places on the internet where you can get images of old letters. So my cards are 3-ish inches. So you'll see these ones are shorter and narrower, and these two are larger. I just get 4 out of an A sheet card. They're very roughly 3 by 5.5, give or take. So I'm just going to cut them into proper tags now by taking these corners off. You've done this many, many times. I'm going to talk to you about how I'm putting my tags together. So week 1 has been, whoops, oh no, did you see that? I dropped the ribbon in my coffee. So we'll cut that bit off. We'll move the coffee. Right, so each month that we do this journal this year, week 1 will be a cover. It will be a different shape, different size. It will use different materials because it's all coming out of scraps. Oh, that is absolutely appalling. Claire, what are you playing at? I'm going to have to put a big one on there now. Week 2, week 3 will be different types of ephemera. Tags, pockets, flips, tucks, belly bands, etc, etc. And then week 4 will be, you know, folding papers, etc, to get into our signature, and small odd piece of ephemera. Okay, so that's how each month is going to pan out. And each month, the cover, which is going to, you know, be the, shall we say, the overriding theme, of the signature for that part of the journal will be different. So this one is a standard, fairly tall, thin one, isn't it, that we made out of a postal box. I don't know exactly yet, but next month I might make it out of a cereal box or something, so it'll have a much wider spine, etc, etc, and that's how we're going to work through the year. So I've got my 4 tags. I am going to choose 2 photographs because I only want photographs on 2 of them, and the easiest thing probably is to take the man and the lady off of the bottom here. So I'm going to pull off the man and the lady. I don't know if they were a couple, if they should be a couple. They look like they belong together. So how are you all? Trim this off. Cut this in half. Okay, so we've got little frames for our photos and they're going to go onto our tags. But I've also got this corrugated card. I showed you this last week. Now this is something that came in between the plates in my new crockery. So I'm going to use this on 2. So we've got 2 pictures and 2 corrugated card. Obviously you will use what you've got to create your tags. So I've got a fat and a thin. So we've got a fat corrugated and a thin corrugated, and then we've got a fat photo and a thin photo. Okay, right. Now, on one of the photographs, because I want these to be letters going between these people, yeah, I'm going to fold my envelope like so. Doesn't matter if it's a real envelope like I'm using, or if you've got an image of one. And that is going to sit on there. I'm going to put him overhanging there. The full address doesn't really matter. If you want to see more of the address, you could trim some extra off. We could take this white border off. That would give us a slightly smaller picture. And more of the address on the envelope. So you can see more now. So we can put that over there like that. And then on the back we've got a little tuck spot that I'm going to put in there. And this is going to open with whatever underneath. So that's super exciting. That's that one. And then for the lady, I want to use some of the actual letter that was inside. Now, this is really, really interesting to me because this address, 12 Charles Dickens Avenue, Higham, Kent, is literally 10 minutes down the road from where I live. And this is Monday, the 26th of January, 1959. So it's very relevant to me. So I'm gonna tear that about there, keep the rest for a moment, and I want that to wrap, but obviously we don't want all that height. So I'm basically doing exactly the same as I've done with the envelope, but this time I'm just doing it with the letter. And you could use any font for this. You could use a book page, whatever you've got. So I'm folding it over there. That is going to be my address for pocket flap on the back, and then she is going to sit on the front there, and I am actually going to leave the frame on her just so it's slightly different. So that's those two. Now this one we want a bit more interesting shape than we've got. That's better. We just try and make that a little bit more grungy and interesting. So that's that one. I'm going to do the same to this one. And then I'm going to go through my bits and pieces box and see what little bits of labels and the like that I've got. Now we're going to have a huge Jenga, so I'm going to put you on pause. Okay, so here is my box of little bits and pieces. So we've got so much different stuff in here, including tea bags. So we've got some, oh, there's a bit of lace there straight away. Now that looks beautiful on there. So we're definitely going to use that. And then I'm just going to rummage through and find things that interest me in my box. He's quite cute, but he's too big. So, all your bits and pieces that you've got, don't want photos because we've got photos on the other two. We've got dates and numbers and things, that's good. What else have we got? We've got butterflies, they might work. We've got some like washi tape there. I'm just trying to fairly quickly pull out things. Oh, one of those might work, mightn't it? Just go through what you've got, you know, already printed out. There's a, no, I don't want that one. There's a bit of music paper there. Because basically we're going to obviously, oh, it's not music paper, it's a thing that I've already made, you see. Basically we are going to make a collage on a tag with the corrugated card, and for the photograph ones I'm going to want a background, aren't I? So I mean I've got, well, there's nothing on that one, but just go through and find, you know, I mean that's beautiful. That's a oh, I can't even think what it's called now. Jelly print. There is a, no, that's the same one, is it? I didn't pull out as much as I thought I had. Right, there's a bit of embossed paper there, embossed card. There's another piece there. There's some stamped fabric. So just literally all your bits and pieces. We've got a dictionary page that's been stamped on. That's lovely. When did I do that? So just literally picking out bits and pieces from your stash. We've got some shabby dabby doo-dah bows there. That's a bit of interesting paper. Right, let's see how we get on with them. So, I'm going to start with the corrugated card ones. So, that and that I'm absolutely loving, but I feel like it needs something else. So, this is the same colour card, which is not going to show up. So I'm just going to get some ink, get a brush. And this is Oxide in Espresso, Grand Espresso. And if we go and pick up some colour on here, that is now going to stand out on there, definitely. And where's my water bottle? Let me give that a bit of a spritz. That'll change colour and all sorts. So we put that up there, and then we had another bit here that was roses. That's the up, that's the down. If I dip the card in the pre-inked, you know, in the water that's on the mat, we've got a piece there as well. Bearing in mind we're going for grungy with, or I'm going for grungy with this one, we do sort of want the mess, if that's the word. You know, we don't want it pristine. I want to tear off these square edges. Like so. That is then going to sit there. And we've got our get rid of that glue. Okay, so I've got my corrugated card, I've got my lace. This almost falls back to the Koridama. Oh yeah, see, I love that. And then we're going to find one of these that's going to go on top. The butterflies, I think, might be too big. We might have to find something else. Yeah, it's too big. There is a smaller one of them somewhere. I know there is. But what about this Mutual 56? Now these are just bits that I've got in my box. They're already in my stash. If you wanted these specific ones, they are from Witchcraft Do You Do. Look at that. That's beautiful. I love that the way it is. I need to pop my hole in to make sure that I don't, when I do it later, have a problem with where I put my stuff. I'm going to pop a reinforcing hole on there. Okay, I'll take my ink brush and just run that all the way around the edge. I know you've all made tags before, you don't really need to watch me do it, but maybe I'm just on in the background while you're crafting anyway. And you know what it's like, you just suddenly get a bit of inspiration or an idea that you didn't necessarily have before. It's all good. Okay, so we've got our ink. We are now gonna, there it is, apply our glue. I was watching a Carol Laws video this morning, and she was talking about glue, and I've got to be honest and say, in all the time that I've been doing this, which is a few years now, I am yet to find a glue that I absolutely adore for every process. It doesn't cost a fortune. She was saying she uses something from Hobbycraft called Hi-Tac. I've never used it. I imagine it's Hobbycraft's version of tacky glue, which I have used and I did like, but then went into COVID, it was hard to get hold of, da-di-da-di-da, and I sort of moved over. Now I do love Collall. I've recommended Collall on my channel many times because it's a bit like the Fabri-Tac 3-in-1 blah blah glue. But that again has now become so expensive. I moved over to the Elmer's and I've loved that, but I've now realised there's about 10 different types of Elmer's, and when I go shopping I always seem to get a different one. So yeah, at the moment I'm using Elmer's and it's doing its job, and I have a separate fabric glue and that is doing its job. But in all honesty, I don't like having two glues. I'd rather have one glue that does everything. So I'm going to investigate Carol's Hi-Tac and see what that's like. See how I get on with that. Sorry, you can hear my bracelet, can't you? There you go. That is my first tag. I'm very pleased with that. Okay. Now, this second one. I'm going to actually use cheesecloth. Now, I used to use cheesecloth all the time, and then I sort of stopped, and I haven't played with cheesecloth for a long time. But when I was having a sort out the other day, desperately trying to find my acorn leaf die, I found this little bundle of cheesecloth curled up in a drawer, and I thought, you know what, it's coming out and it's getting used. So here it is on my desk and we're using it. Oh, there you go. Let's run the inky brush around the edge. So yes, very relaxed casual crafting here today. I'm not in the mood for anything that might have its base in rocket science. I want nice, easy crafting. But working on stuff for a year-long book. Okay, so I'm going to stick this down. That's going there. That piece of ribbon, for some reason, is calling to me. So do you know what? We're going to go a bit arty-farty. So we're going to do a line of glue there. We're going to follow it all the way down that concertina to there. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to put our cheesecloth on top. spread a bit of a spiral glue. I'm putting my cheesecloth on top. Like that. So you can just see the ribbon underneath. I'm going for a small strip. I think that's right. Yeah, and that's going to sit on top of my ribbon and my cheesecloth. Like so. Okay. We've got a little bit of our embossed paper here. And that's going to go on the top of the other two. I think I said to you before, generally you find that you need a minimum of 3 layers to make these things work. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're working on 5 on this one. So we've definitely got our 3. What did we have on this one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so minimum of 3 when you're doing layers. That's how I find anyway that it works the best. And do we want to give it that 204J? Does that work? It's funny, but I always prefer numbers to be at the bottom. I don't know why. Call me mad. So that's that one, and it's going to go over everything. So we've come right to the edge, so it's over the ribbon, okay, and on top, so we're over everything. That's that one. And obviously the backs are plain for journaling. Right, now, so that's going to go on there like that. So let's ink this up, get our hole and ink it up, and then we'll see where we go with this. So if you want it to be truly lifelike, the answer is not to ink every bit of the edge, just areas, especially areas where you feel it's going to have been mostly handled. Okay, we'll stick a ring on it. Oh, could have been a musician, couldn't I? Oops. Go over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so this letter, or envelope, not letter, envelope, is going there. It's going to get glued down that side and across the top and the bottom to make it a tuck spot. And that's on the folded edge I'm doing mine, but I'm only doing it that way because of where the address has been written. Okay, there we go, like that, and then it's going to flap, and we've got a pocket there, and we've got this background for secret journaling or whatever. I'm going to use some of this, I think. Where's my tear ruler? Now, my desk is a dreadful mess, isn't it? I do apologise. So, we're going to have a piece of that torn off and a piece of that. Okay, that's going to sit on there. We're going to put some of the letter in the envelope, so that definitely is going to fit that way. It's now too long because obviously we turned the envelope over. Now if you want that to be exactly the same, then obviously you can just put another fold in it like that. Remember, you do not need original, you know, vintage envelopes for this. This is something that you can use from any kind of DigiKit. And I'm just gonna put one of the pieces that I tore off of that guest check on here, because I need to strengthen up that bit of picture that's going to be hanging over. Shouldn't be using these are my fabric scissors. And then that can go like that, and then when that opens, you see it's got that, whoops, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, there you go, it's got that back. So we're going to glue just into that guest check along, and that's going to give us our supported back like that, you see. So we just make, yeah, that's fine, go in there. So just stick that down. So my envelope flip, there's my envelope, there's my secret journaling space, and then on the back I've got a pocket there in which I'm going to put my butterflies. I'm going to stick them down so that decorates the back, because normally you'd write on the back, but we can write on the inside. And then there'll still be space to put something in that pocket if you want to. So I'll slide that in there like that. Make sure it's straight up that side. Stick that down, and then you see there's still plenty of space to put something in. In fact, there's no reason they shouldn't be in there. Okay, because although it's a man, we've got a pink stamp that sort of ties in. Okay, now if this bothers you and you want this to shut, there is no reason that you cannot make a tab from something that you've got That's quite a nice colour. So if you fold that in half, like so, take your scissors, cut that off straight, and then if you do a little, if you haven't got a tag punch, whoops, so line this up with the bottom and then do your okay, make yourself a little tab. You see it's just joint, pop that on. Got a wow towel or whatever you've got, or even just a little circle. Line that up. Okay. Line that up on there. Okay. And then you can put a little tiny hole in there. Like so. Now that it's glued, I'm just going to round that off a little bit. With my sharp scissors. But I'm not going to be sharp for very long at this rate. But anyway, and we're going back to this gold ribbon because that's on the other tag. And we're creating a bit of a set. That's not going to go through there. I have to make a bigger one. Pop your ribbon through. Goodness me, I'm cockeyed today, aren't I? There you go. Poke your ribbon through. Do yourself a nice knot. Make sure that that knot is big enough, that's not coming through. And then you can wrap it round, trim it off, and just poke it through. There you go. And then we've got a flappy tag with a pocket on the back. Trim that up so it's a bit prettier. And there's that one done. So then on to number 4. Exactly the same thing is going to go on here, but I'm not going to have this as a flap. I'm only going to have the pocket on the back, and she is going to hold that down. So consequently, we need something else to decorate this. So what did I pull out? I pulled out this one. This is quite nice. We can have a strip down there. That's quite nice. Lift some colour into it, and then we could put some of this lovely border across her photograph. Or we could, oh no, I think that'll work better. Right, so let's get this glued up, not glued up, inked up. Let's get a hole in the top, and then we can see where we're going. So we're just going to run round our edge. Okay, our hole punch. Our circle. And then we're good to go. So, this one, let's do it this side, so it's the opposite to the other one. Let's put glue down here. So you've got your little tuck spot there again. Okay, we need to trim off this white border. If only I knew where my metal ruler was. There's a plastic one. There's a cold cup of coffee. It's not the one. Oh, here it is. Right. So I'm going to take off the white strip. We're going to work out where this goes. I believe it's going to go right up to that reinforcer all the way down there. Then she is going to sit there, and this is going to bow up on there. Am I happy enough with that, or do I require something more? No. No. See, I did. Right, well, we're going to do it like this anyway, because this is what I want. But it's what I do. Let's glue this rather than the tag. Right, I'll glue this. A little bit of glue on that edge. Right, and she's definitely going down, and we are keeping her white border. But then it's just what we put on top of her. So she's going to go in a little bit there. We'll flip that over and take that off there. Now, like this, so I'm just thinking and looking at my desk. Oh yes, so you're obviously just using up scraps. This is what I've said. Using stuff that's in your get up. Before I do that, I'm actually going to tie a bow. Famous last words, obviously, but I'm going to tie a bow in this lovely ribbon. like so. It's obviously way too big. You see how it's dangling nicely. Still too small. Too big. Right, we got that one. Got that one. Right, pull that. Pull that. Let's have a little look at this. Right, you've got quite a nice little bow there. Right, okay, so we're going to put our lace here, like that, a netty lacy thing, like that. And then we're going to trim up our bow. So but I don't want to put wet glue under there because wet glue is going to seep through. There we go. Ah. So you get glue all over your fingers and then everything sticks to everything. Right. Then a little bit down there. That'll hold that. And a little bit there. And then we've got this delightful little bow on her. So there you go. For this week we've got 4 tags. Now obviously you can go on and you can make loads more, depending on how, you know, big each book is going to be, or each signature is going to depend on how many we need of everything. And obviously only you know how you want to use your journal. I'm happy with 4. So I'm going to open this up and I'm just going to tuck in my 4 tags, and then I will flip that shut and keep them safe until I come back to do some more work next week. I hope you found joy and inspiration. Stay safe. I'll be back with you very soon. Ta-ta for now.